Hello and welcome once again to Red Gaming Tech for your daily dose of your latest gaming news with myself, Amata. Today is still the 13th of November and this time I'm bringing you some news regarding PS4, Xbox One and the Oculus Rift, as next generation consoles, which of course includes the PS4 and Xbox One, are apparently too limited for Oculus Rift support, and this is according to the headset creator, who is of course Palmer Luckey. And he said that the closed nature of Sony and Microsoft consoles is a problem for the device that he expects to evolve rapidly. And when speaking to Tech Radar, he said, quote, "Consoles are too limited for what we want to do. We're trying to make the best virtual reality device in the world, and we want to continue to innovate and upgrade every year, continue making progress internally, and whenever we make big jumps we want to push that to the public." And like he said, that the rate of progress he expects for the Oculus Rift cannot be supported by consoles. And he continued by saying, quote, "The problem with consoles in general is that once they come out, they're locked to a certain spec for a long time. Look at the PCs that existed 8 years ago. There have been so many huge advances since then. Now look at the VR hardware of today. I think the jump we're going to see in the next 4 or 5 years is going to be massive. And already VR is a very intensive thing. It requires rendering at high resolutions at over 60 frames a second in 3D. Oculus Rift, it looks like for the moment is going to remain a PC-based peripheral, but of course, as we've discussed before, Sony is reportedly planning to unveil its own VR headset in 2014. So it looks like unless we see something drastic change on the Oculus Rift end, or even with the PS4 and Xbox One end, which obviously is not likely for the next few years, we will not be seeing the Oculus Rift being supported on the PS4 or the Xbox One anytime soon. So it looks like it's going to be a PC-only piece of hardware for quite some time. Now, it may eventually come to those next-generation consoles, perhaps closer towards the end of their lifespan, when the components within have been perhaps tweaked and upgraded, and the nature of the Oculus Rift is not so rapidly growing, changing and expanding. Once it's settled down a little bit, we may see it being released so that, you know, they can basically get the device out to more users, because the success of such a device, of any device really, is getting it out to as many people as possible. And the market of people who have high-end PCs is pretty large, but is it as large as those who are going to have access to the PS4 and Xbox One? Well, I don't have the exact figures, but probably not is the answer. Now, my only concern for the Oculus Rift is that we haven't, of course, even seen it released yet. And if Sony really are going to be unveiling their own VR device, they're kind of in a little bit of a race to get their device out first. Now, of course, I highly doubt that Sony has theirs ready to go out to market right now, but if they do unveil it in 2014, the race begins, and it's basically going to be a competition to who can get the device out first, because, well, if Sony beats them to it, then the Oculus may be dead in the water before it's even begun. I'm not saying that it's not an interesting device, it really is. It looks really cool, and I can't wait to get my hands on it, but we're talking about Sony here. And if it has PS4 support built in, then PS4 owners are going to go with that device over one that's used for PCs only. This is simply the fact of the matter. So hopefully the Oculus Rift is out before too long. Of course, they want to make it the best and most well-rounded device as they possibly can before they release it to the public, but I feel like they need to be feeling the heat a little bit now. The VR market is heating up again after years of just languishing in disgust and kind of being neglected. So I think they need to get the device out as soon as they can, and hopefully there'll be a nice bit of competition between Sony and the Oculus Rift. Of course, competition is a very healthy thing in this space, so let's just hope that's what happens. Anyway, that is me done for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.